What's going on, everyone? We are back. This is going to be our third draft that we're putting up on the channel. It is draft number 44, 43, one of those two numbers. So we're getting our way up there, almost to a third completion on the big board. It's still at this point in time 211. Barely filled up relative to what it needs to be at to fill. It's at 13%, and we are well over pace for what we need to be doing to max out this tournament. So that's always nice because we definitely plan on maxing it out. Focusing on this draft, we are in the 111. We've been getting dealt, specifically in the big board. I feel like the last 5 drafts I've done have all been like 10 through 12. I'm pretty sure 4 out of the last 5 drafts I've done have been 10 through 12, which is, it doesn't even mean anything. Like, you can literally win from any slot, but I'm just saying, like, 4 picks away. We're likely going to get kicked out of the receiver tier. That is Amon Puka. Hopefully, we can still get one of 2, Brees or Jameer. That's likely not going to happen. We hope it does. Amon at the 109 is insane, man. How are people letting him fall that far? Thanks, Jameer. Very unfortunate for us. In this range, we don't like Garrett Wilson. I'm not a Garrett Wilson fan in this range. A.J. Brown. It's a good pick. I like A.J. Brown here. I like Josh Allen here. I like Devon A-Chain here. Those are like all the players I'm looking at here. But we'll go A.J. Brown. He's shown 2 years in a row just a ridiculous ceiling with Jalen Hurts. So, no reason not to love him. And in the scenario where the tush push gets banned, like, that's better for A.J. Brown. Because then they're going to be doing, like, potential more goal line passing work, and he's a big body that should be getting targeted in the red zone. So, there's that. And I didn't mention Nico Collins because I really don't like Nico Collins in this range. Like, Tank Dell being there limits his upside so hard. Tank Dell legit could be the one. Tank Dell easily could be the one. We saw them producing like 1A, 1B every other week when they both were like full speed ahead past week 8, you know? So, see him go Garrett Wilson plus Kyron. You see, with A.J. Brown, I really like going Jalen Hurts with these ADPs because, like, there's a decent chance he's still there. Or I can just push. So I think we'll test our luck with Devon A-Chain. And the reason I'm mentioning Jalen Hurts is because, like, Josh Allen is my best player available there. And if I would have went Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm going Josh Allen there. But since I went A.J. Brown, that, like, makes me a lot more inclined to want to go Jalen Hurts. And it's not like I need Jalen Hurts on every A.J. Brown team. But that is a stack that can potentially win you the tournament. So that's just where my head's at with that. Nico going at the 19. Marvin Harrison ahead of him. Criminal. Just criminal. Sam Laporta going at the 20 is incredible. That is, I don't even think it's that bad. To be honest, I really don't. Because if Sam Laporta can show us a year close to the same year that he just gave us, picking him at the 20 is fine. Because he had super nutted spike weeks. He had a 3 touchdown week, dude. Like, you can't beat that. He was by far and away the tight end one that week. He was a must-have player on your team. So, and for most tight ends, that usually does not apply. A lot of them are interchangeable. Sam Laporta is not an interchangeable player. We saw that year 1. And, like, their second best receiver there, is it JMO? I think it's JMO. That's not a good look for their second best receiver. So Sam Laporta surely will eat a lot again. Maybe even more, which would be like, imagine Sam Laporta hits this Mark Andrews ceiling. I mean, aren't we already there, to be honest? The one thing that Mark Andrews has on him, or had on him, in terms of unicorn season, that Sam Laporta just will never have, is Amon-Ra existing. Mark Andrews was by far the best weapon on his team. Sam Laporta is, I mean, you can't argue that he's better than Amon-Ra as a pass catcher. That's just blasphemy. You know, Amon-Ra is a top 5 receiver in the league, hands down. So Jalen Waddle going at 36 flat now. Malik Neighbors 29. We're seeing him go earlier and earlier. Checks out. I mean, like, betting on the rookies makes sense. Especially like Malik Neighbors going to the Chargers. That'd be incredible. A bunch of picks we love on the board here coming up to us. That was not one of them. Devonta Smith is not on our board there. Jalen Waddle going. We hate to see that. I mean, obviously, there's still our big one that we have talked about already. Don't want to name it. That's bad juju. We just have to fade one pick. Come on, RBB. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, man. Pushing him is greedy, right? Because I feel like he's going to take Keenan Allen, and I really want Keenan Allen. But then what if he just goes Jalen Hurts, just to spite me? But the thing is he could still just go like Lamar plus Zay. I don't know. He probably goes Keenan, and now we got to figure it out. I like Rachaad White. Amari Cooper is so up in the air. T. Higgins is an up in the air status player. I mean, what if we just full send fuck it Trey McBride here? Here's the logic. So it's either Trey McBride, in my mind, it's either Trey McBride, Travis Etienne, Rachaad White. Trey McBride is going to be the Sam Laporta of the Arizona Cardinals, and potentially even more, because Marvin Harrison still has to prove it. All right. And for multiple weeks this season, we saw Trey McBride be a top 3 tight end. And that's not going away. Trey McBride is still going to be a dog. He's still young as fuck. There's no reason Trey McBride shouldn't be an absolute dog this year again. No injury risk. All the signs are there, you know? The connection with Kyler was great still. Whoever gets Lamar here, yeah, you gotta be stoked. Pick 48, Lamar is god tier. Rachaad White going at the 51 is insane. He should be going way earlier than that, man. I was down to take him at the 2-3. If that was where he settled, fuck it. He was incredible. Why would he not be incredible again? It wasn't even like he was sun running touchdowns. He was just incredible. He had 1,400 yards from scrimmage. I don't understand the sudden distaste in Rachaad White on underdog. I honestly don't. I don't think Calvin Ridley's going to be here at pick 59 for us, which sucks because I really want Calvin Ridley here. He's easily next player off the board for me. RBB has one more chance to be our boy and not take the guy we want. I can't believe it. I don't even know what my eyes are seeing. So I think we're going to go Terry McLaurin. Terry's a pretty safe role, man. And he ran pretty bad with touchdowns this year. And then I can also go further into it after I make another pick here. Where my head's at now with our next pick is either JSN, Chris Godwin, Tyjae Spears. And you could mix in some George Kittle if you're really feeling mixy. But I think I'm going to go Chris Godwin. JSN's a decent bet too, but like the Seattle situation is just so fucky at the moment because we don't know who's going to exactly be starting day one, what they're doing in the draft. It's a very up in the air situation, and JSN is incredible. So don't get that wrong. But it's, to me, almost a very Drake London-esque situation where the talent doesn't really matter because the quarterback situation / team situation is just so fucked that like the spike weeks you're getting are okay, but relative to the nutted players, there's surely going to be other better nutted players around you, I feel like. And talking about Terry, the Commanders should be penalized by the league and God himself if they do not take Drake May, because he is by far and away the best number 2 quarterback we've seen in a while. He's my number 1. I think he's better than Caleb. He would be my 101 in a perfect world. So if they don't pick him at 102, I would be shocked. That being said, Terry McLaurin is going to get such an absurd amount of fucking targets from Drake May this year. I am so high on Terry McLaurin. Jahan Dotson underproduced and regressed so hard. And Curtis Samuel's situation is very up in the air. It's 50-50 if he gets re-signed or not. We'll see if they expend the money to re-sign Curtis Samuel. They should. Objectively, they should, because he was better than Jahan Dotson, who they should just end up letting go off of his rookie contract when that ends. So just re-sign. If it's me, I'll re-sign Curtis Samuel for 3 years. Give him 2 to 3 years. And then we'll see what we can do with Drake May on his contract with Curtis Samuel. Because Curtis Samuel, advanced metrics-wise, was by far their number 2 best receiver there behind Terry. So Terry's role is very secure, is where I'm getting at. They would have to draft someone very, very high in the 2nd or 3rd round to contest potentially eating away like upwards of like 18%. That's just not happening. It's just not happening. Terry has a very secure target share on that team. So Chris Godwin, also another very secure situation. That again, this is the big board. We're going for very secure situations. We like security in this tournament. We like, in the early rounds, not betting on the unknown. And where the unknown has great upside in the early rounds, there's still a bunch up in the air. So we'll let other people make those bets. We'll take the safe bets in the early round because the real nutted outcomes, if you get them at the end of the draft, they're just as good at the early. So it is what it is. Who we're going here is a bit of a toss-up because I love Tony Pollard. I really do. I also love Brian Thomas. I think we're going Brian Thomas. As I was just on my my rookie rant, I feel like this is an okay ADP to start buying into rookies at. The QJ tier, you could call it, from last year. Jordan Addison was also going in this range towards the end of the year. Very easily, Brian Thomas can pay off this ADP. Very easily. The talent alone, we just need a good landing spot. Not even a good landing spot. We just need okay landing spot, honestly. The spike weeks will come. Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams is wild. And he doesn't even have... Like, I understand the Justin Herbert, but... Do we go Njoku? Do we go Brian Robinson? Honestly, I might just go Brian Robinson and just start building out... what's it called? A commander stack. I can plan on like picking Drake May ahead of ADP. I can pick up Curtis Samuel on this team. They're both relatively free. I can just pull that up, get that out of my mind. I mean, we could still go Baker too. That's the great thing about picking Chris Godwin, is Baker's so free. That's one thing that you should be adding to your best ball. What would it be called? Repertoire, arsenal, something like that. Draft receivers with quarterbacks that you can efficiently stack late. Because it's obviously not great if you're just bullshitting, being like, okay, I'm slamming Adam Thielen to stack with Bryce Young. That's not very lucrative, right? But leaning into the unknown of a rookie quarterback like Drake May on a potential high octane passing offense kind of makes sense. Or Baker, someone who we've just saw put up multiple weeks that you need in the fantasy playoffs, going very low. Yeah, give me Baker. Why not? TJ Hawkinson going at the 91. We have an optimist of sorts, you could say. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Hawkinson pick. I think it should be a lot lower. He's going in a range where you're getting stable points. So why not just take the stable points? Like, it's stable points with tournament winning upside level player versus tournament winning level player that you guaranteed won't have for 8 weeks. Isn't that... I could just be oversimplifying it, perhaps, but I feel like that logic checks out to me. We see Jake Ferguson going at the 96. You know we hate that. Hate's a strong word, but I really don't like that. Jake Ferguson's very overvalued. Jalen Moore in 96. He's really climbing. I wouldn't be surprised to see him push up in the 80s. It doesn't make sense for him to be going this low, to be honest. His upside is really good. He just posted 1,100 yards from scrimmage, 60 catches, ran bad on touchdowns. Because, and it's not even, obviously he's not getting the goal line work, but he didn't even have a receiving touchdown. I know of 2 different instances where Jaylen Warren gets tackled within the 2. I watched 2 of them live. Very sad. So his season could even been more nutted, and then we'd be even gushing over him harder, right? I'm a big fan. Josh Downs, Jakobi Meyers, both going. Jaylen Warren going. It's such a tragedy. Those are all the players that we're eyeing up to slam here at our 107 pick. Also, no, I'm just going to start Cole Kmet. I'm actually just going to start Cole Kmet. Because I'm not jumping Rashid Shaheed that far. Just because of what his ceiling I know is. With that offense specifically. Not a knock on his talent. Knock on the offense. More of. 131. If I think Ladd's going to get picked before 131, I'm always going Ladd here. It's not always the case, though. The 1-to-1 of Chuba versus Chase, I'm a Chuba fan, to be honest. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't make sense. I've been thinking about it more. Chase Brown's ADP with Joe Mixon still existing, I'm going to take a stand. It doesn't make sense. Why is Chuba Hubbard not valued higher than Chase Brown? Let's talk it over. Chuba Hubbard comes in. They just paid Miles Sanders $30 million fucking dollars. Chuba Hubbard, year 2 player, way more efficient, comes in, way better pass catcher, way better pass blocker. He won the role. Pretty hands down, I feel like. Was the workhorse week 17 throughout the fantasy playoffs. The team's only going to get better. Surely they draft a lineman. Surely they potentially sign a lineman. We'd love to see either of those things happen. Either of those things happening would be incredible for Chuba Hubbard, Bryce Young, and the Panthers offense. We need to see that happen. Regardless, Chuba Hubbard is still, I would say, a more certain talent at this point in the NFL than Chase Brown. We've seen it. And I mean, Chase Brown obviously has that one play that's stuck in everyone's mind, that one really nutted play. But I mean, it was a bit of a breakdown. Like, it wasn't Chase Brown really, doing anything that incredible. He was really fast. It was a bit of a breakdown, though. And yeah, I like Chuba Hubbard, what he does, what his ceiling is, what his role I know is. He's got it over Chase Brown on a 1-to-1 level comparison. And Chase Brown's ADP is a full round ahead. You don't have to follow the rules, that the rules that are set in place or whatever, right? There are consistent flaws in the system. All right. Picking Chuba there, 10 ahead ADP, when Chase Brown is falling. Just don't have that much Chase Brown. And the reason I went Cole Kmet, I'll touch on that because I have no correlation or plan to have no correlation for Cole Kmet. Like I'm just raw picking up Cole Kmet. I might pick up another bear like a Khalil Herbert, but I don't care. It's not necessary. It's not in my game plan. I just need tight end points. And you're thinking to yourself probably, well, you used a third round pick on Trey McBride and you're talking about how you need tight end points now. You moron. Which, not the worst argument in the world. But Cole Kmet's ceiling, we're just talking about ceilings here. His ceiling is honestly the same as Trey McBride's. I think Cole Kmet is a very big value. And obviously, his scenario is a bit worse because DJ Moore, better talent than Marvin Harrison, and the QB situation there is up in the air. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a worse situation for Cole Kmet. So we talked about it. We're going Ladd McConkey here. I feel like hands down. We just need him. We need him. It's also a debate, man. Are we Drake May? Are we Baker Mayfield? I feel like as principal, I need to go Baker Mayfield. The team is built a little more just because of Brian Robinson being a good pass catcher for Drake May. We can still get both hypothetically. It's not the craziest thing if Drake May falls 3 ADP. Having both of them would be amazing. But the skinny stack with Baker, Godwin. Okay, so let me just talk like out loud through my thought process right now. So the 1-to-1 of Baker versus Drake May here is really fucking close, man. It's really close. Because what Drake May's potential spike weeks could be, imagine like he's just another CJ Stroud in terms of fantasy point production. Not in terms of, talent or whatever. I'm just saying fantasy point production. He could have something similar to CJ Stroud. It's a very similar situation where the weapons are quite good. The coaching is getting better. And he is him. And what we saw Sam Howell be able to produce with that core, Drake May might be able to kill it, man. He might be able to kill it. So, very bullish on Drake May, but with Baker, I can't get over the fact that he had 2 weeks that you needed in the fantasy playoffs. Weeks 15 through 17, he had 2 weeks where he finished as a QB3 and up. I can't look past that. If Drake May had showed me that, vice versa, I'm slam dunking Drake May, right? I'm just trying to think as objectively as possible here, trying to give myself the best route of winning. From a strict team structure standpoint, I should be picking Drake May there because of Brian Robinson's pass catching ability out of the backfield. Because then I have 2 routes to having nutted spike weeks instead of just 1 through a skinny stack. But we might see in 8 picks that there's 2 different outcomes that are good of me potentially picking Baker there. One of them I have queued. The other one I haven't talked about. All right. And we could see it. Let's just wait, 7 picks away. Xavier Worthy, Jaleel McLaughlin. A lot of people are big on Jaleel McLaughlin. Makes sense. He looked nice. Eye test wise, he definitely looked great, man. It was just very like crying in the club feel for Javonte Williams. Because what he was in college was nothing short of incredible with what he flashed. Even at the NFL level, healthy Javonte Williams flashed. There was just so little of it. So little of it. We didn't get to live out our Javonte dreams. It's sad. It's sad. So Drake May goes off the board. Sucks to be us. Where is our head at? So may or may not be a surprise. Growing K. Dot here. Securing our tight end room. No longer need to pick a tight end to this draft. Have 3 great ones. Hopefully, he does not go the player that I'm thinking of. He does not. Very nice. Okay, so I'm thinking of... It's tough. It's tough because I really want Wandale here. But I also really want Audric Estime. I think I'm going Audric Estime. His profile is just so good. His profile is so good, man. He's got everything it takes to be successful at the next level. He just needs the right landing spot. So that's a profile I'd like to bet on. And it's a little rolled the dicey not taking Wandale here. This might end up becoming a bad pick because Wandale is a guaranteed like great value right here. It's at ADP. Receiver stability, me adding a 6th receiver there would have been pretty nice if I don't end up getting a Curtis Samuel or Demario Douglas type receiver. Having Wandale there will probably end up making a huge difference. But we'll see. Because with rookie receivers, you never know. You really do. You really just never know. It'll probably end up being a 9 receiver team where I have a lot of rookies. Maybe even more rookies than guaranteed starters, to be honest. And I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. Because rookies tend to give, even the bad ones, they still give spike weeks. They'll flash because they try and have manufactured production, unlike players that are just actually out there running flies, like your Alec Pierces, your MVSs. They're not going to get manufactured work. Maybe with one play. So if they score a 70-yard touchdown, sure. But rookies, sometimes they get force worked into the game plan. So we are 6 picks away. And we are praying. It hurts. It hurts, man. It's bullshit. So he's going to go RB for sure. In my head, I think he's going RB. I think that makes sense. That he goes RB. Okay, the question was for me, am I picking Elijah Moore or am I just starting to unload with the rookies? And I think the answer was going to be rookies anyway, but that makes the decision a lot easier for me. I could go Trey Palmer here. Maybe I should just be going Trey Palmer here because it's a Bucks bet anyway. It lets me like ease off the load on rookies a little bit too. And Trey Palmer, I know I was just talking about MVS type players. We don't know if Trey Palmer is an MVS type player, all right? Because if you want to comp Trey Palmer to someone, he's just Troy Franklin. He's just another Troy Franklin, unironically. And hey, there might be some Troy Franklin lovers out there that are not liking what I'm saying. That's not disrespect. That's just who Trey Palmer is. Trey Palmer is actually quite good. I like Trey Palmer. I like Troy Franklin. I like both of them. I think they both can potentially win at the next level. And Trey Palmer, we saw win in a few different ways. And he was important to the Bucks. So, you know, he will have spike weeks. Trey Palmer is a player that will have spike weeks. Trey Palmer might matter. Is he going to win the number 2 job over Mike Evans? Probably not. But I think he's like a great handcuff in terms of contingent production if there were to be a Buck go down. He's not the typical alpha build, but that is fine. He wins in other ways. He's able to get open. Also, if Roman Wilson falls to us somehow 10 picks from now, that'd be hot. That'd be hot. Marvin Mims, Dameon Pierce. Still a lot of picks away, so I'm not sweating yet. Fuck! No! Not a Mega King doing it to us twice this draft. Not doing it to us twice, man. It's tough. It's a debate for me if I want to go 3 QB with Hurts Baker because I don't really need to. So yeah, 2-5-8-3. This is what we're rolling with. Going into the next turn. Brennan Rice, Jermaine Burton. Just start unloading out on the rookies. This is where you should be slamming them. Because they can return ceilings that non-rookies cannot. Almost guaranteed. Like assuming when I have a 9 receiver build, assuming one out of these 3 has a very good season, and then one out of the 3 as well has a playable season. One out of these 3 has a good season, and then another one has a playable season. And then I just need one out of these 3 to hit. And then that's enough. That's all you need. That's all you need. That is all you need. You just need to break into pockets, you know? For how you structure your teams. And for RBs, it's thin for us. It's a little thin for us, to be honest. I do want to pick up another RB, but the problem is there's no one I really love. If Zeke is still on the board, that's who we're going with. But if Zeke isn't on the board, it's gonna be tough for me. Not, I don't know, man. I could just go Chris Rodriguez. I don't know. I'm trying to think if Chris Rodriguez makes sense. Is Chris Rodriguez ever a play? Because I'm just thinking, if Chris Rodriguez is insanely good, that just chalks my Gibby pick, right? Is that a bad thing? Not my Gibby pick. My Brian Robinson pick. Had Gibby on the mind. I don't know if it does. Well, I mean, it makes it significantly worse if Chris Rodriguez were to hit. If Chris Rodriguez were to hit, not through injury, it obviously invalidates the Brian Robinson pick. If I'm drafting as a pure handcuff to Brian Robinson, I guess that's okay. But that's why I feel like it should just be like not like fuck handcuffs, dude. Like a handcuff that you should be drafting. I don't know though. I don't know because it's like it's such a paradoxical thing. Like I think you should be what would make more sense is if a job you think is slightly up in the air, you should be drafting those running backs if their ADPs are cheaper. I think that makes sense. Like, if you wanted, for example, last year on Chicago, you have Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Deontay Foreman. All of them were going in the 120 and further back range. If you were to draft 2 out of 3 of them on your team, I like that. I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. But then when you start going on in one of your top 100 picks and then handcuffing them, it feels like a bad bet. Because it's like, dude, you're kind of like discounting the upside of a, you know? I feel like that makes sense. So we see obviously the running backs that we wanted to go off the board. I could just go a rookie here, like a Frank Gore, Jalen Wright. Frank Gore, fuck it. I don't know, man. I like Michael Penix. As a talent, I really like Michael Penix. So, sure. What if we just roll with a super light RB build? It doesn't feel the best, but like there's no RBs I want to go here. I would much rather go Luke McCaffrey every time or Jamari Thrash. Either or. So yeah, 1, 2. 5 rookies in year 2 Trey Palmer. And I don't think it's bad, honestly. Like you could probably look at this team and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Are you literally throwing away money? Because it's not something that you draft normally, probably. First year doing this. I'm telling you though, these are the teams that just have like it's obviously going to be boom or bust, obviously. There's no middle ground with this. But when these kind of teams hit, the hits are next level. So, that's all I just got to say. 3593. Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix, Devon Achane, Brian Robinson, Chuba Hubbard, Audric Estime, Reed Davis, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Brian Thomas, Ladd McConkey, Trey Palmer, Brendan Rice, Jermaine Burton, and Luke McCaffrey. Then to close it out with the tight ends, we have Trey McBride, Cole Kmet, and Cade Otton. So, it's another draft. Nice little structure. 3593. Don't really see that one as much as often. I feel like as the others, but we'll see if we can make it work. Hopefully we can. Thank you guys for watching the draft. Make sure to follow me on all socials, like the video down below. And yeah, thank you.